Well, guys, I do apologize. I meant to upload this like 2 days ago, never got to it. So there you go. This is your replacement to the Pocket Change Market Report, which I'm gonna do for tomorrow on Thursday. So Monday Market Report for the week ending June 16, 2024. We're gonna take a look at this crazy clown shoes market that we're in right now in graded coins. All right, so yeah, welcome back. We're going to be checking things out on greatcollections.com. Now, keep in mind, we had two big national shows back to back. We had the Southern California Long Beach Expo, which was a week and a half ago, and this past weekend was the Baltimore Whitman Show. So, yeah, kind of crazy. So, during these particular periods where there's a big national show, usually these big, auction companies, they'll kind of hold back a little bit on putting out, what they or what I consider to be like the big banger coins, and just save it for the next week. All right. That way, there's not a ton of overlap between what people are doing at the big national show and what's going on actual live auctions like Great Collections, because they do it every week. They have the power to kind of withhold a few things to the next week where the show schedule it might be a little bit more dead. All right, so it may or may not be the case, but that's how I've seen it. I've seen the trends, for this for a number of years now, and that's just the way it is. So if this is your first time here, we're going to explore some of the more notable post 1900 modern era of graded coins, and they all feature the previous week before. They all end, especially on Great Collections, on Sundays. So that's why it says week ending June 16th and not June 19th, which is today. So, um, yeah, pretty crazy. So you know what else is crazy is that in 2 short days, we are going to be giving away probably one of the most awesomest items that I have ever given away in the 12-year YouTube career that I've grown. All right, and that's a pretty sweet Garrett metal detector. It's the AT Pro model, and that's all because you guys got me to 10,000 followers on the platform. Whatnot, it's by far and away one of my favorite um, e-commerce platforms where you can do instant sales on the fly, auction style, and you could even be a big buyer too if you wanted to. There's a lot of great stuff out there on this platform. We just hit the 10K milestone, and because of that, I'm going to reward all my followers in a big way. Now, it's not too late to join up on the platform. Whatnot, I will have my referral link down below in the description box. You can go ahead and sign up. You'll get $15 to use on your next purchase, but most importantly, there's something always more important than the $15 credit. It's you go on to my profile and follow me, so that way you could get in to the Gold Rush giveaway where you'll be giving away all of these simply amazing items from Garrett. All right, we also have gold panning kits. We got a couple of pro pointers. I'm investing in you guys. All right, in a big way. I'm looking forward to it. So that's gonna be this Friday, June 21st. Be there at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then we will begin to sprinkle in some of these items all throughout our show. We are going to still offer an auction. It's not going to be a long auction. It's going to be actually half the size of what we just had yesterday, and that's why it says complete right there on screen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this event and giving back to my loyal fans on the platform. So come check us out, follow us, and you could also, possibly win these items. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started into what was notable here in the past week. Starting out with a coin that I haven't, really talked about because I don't see too many of these pop up on the auction circuit. 1982S proof Lincoln Memorial Cent. Now, the one and only grade that really matters here is going to be that proof 70 red. It's the type of date where there's no safety net here. If you earned yourself a 69 red, congratulations, you have about a $35 coin. But in order to really achieve greatness here, the perfect 70 is what you're going to be looking for. Now, it's not a lot of people have that ability to really pinpoint or button down what looks to be the perfect coin. There's always going to be something, all right? And that's why it's so difficult to find a perfect 70 proof coin, even in the 1980s and 1990s, that, it's something that a lot of people want to do. They'll invest the money to do so and then feel completely bummed out that, they ended up with a 68 or 69 grade, which on paper seems like really nice grade, but for proof coins and the registry set world, it really doesn't matter. And you'll also want deep cameo. Now, there were a fair number of these that did grade perfect 70 over the years, and because of that, this one ended up selling for $1,351.12. Just kind of highlighting that even in a perfect 70, it's not like a $5,000 to $10,000 coin because of the overall quantity of this particular coin at the highest level. The next one that we have here, we took a big old step back 27 years, enter in this beautiful 1955 Lincoln Cent featuring the FS101 doubled die obverse. I mean, we all know about this one. Should really be no surprise that this coin is one of the big chasers in the numismatics world. All right, and if you're a Lincoln Cent completionist, you're probably going to need this in your collection. This particular one is an old grade. It's a mid-state 63 red brown. Now, you're going to ask me, Sean, what does an old grade mean? This thing was graded way back in probably the early 90s, highlighted by that green, what they call OGH sticker on there. They even abbreviated doubled DBLD on there, so it's old. This particular coin right here, again, it's a big dollar, big dog coin. They're not ever cheap. Even the ones that are problematic, they are cleaned or damaged. You're gonna still end up spending over $1,000 for the thing. This particular example ended up hammering for $4,786.88. And boy, the screen just got a whole heck of a lot brighter with the addition of a steel cent. All right, it's a one-year shot, 1943S. This time it's a San Francisco minted example. This one comes graded by CACG, the new kids on the block in the grading world, already carving out a huge chunk of the market share for grading. As a matter of fact, me and my wife, we just submitted some coins to CACG grading over the weekend at the Oklahoma Tulsa show. So, I mean, even I'm using them, and I have an account with them and all that great stuff. I just like, everything that they stand for. They're standing by the collectors, So, when you see one, you kind of have to figure out, oh, this one's going to perform really well in the marketplace because CACG grades on the old school grading standard level. Things that we've seen back in the 80s, back with the old Annex, the David Halls of the world, when they got into the grading kind of, scene, they were all grading pretty strict. And CACG, of course, is doing everyone a huge favor by doing that same thing as well here in 2024. Now, this one is a crazy mid-state 68 grade. It's a huge grade. But it's not the top grade if we're looking at all the grading companies. We've seen 68 pluses out there. This one right here ended up selling for $2,700. Quite the attractive coin. And there was also a Philadelphia example as well. Now, the difference here is that this one right here, graded by PCGS, is another 68. Is one a little bit more tougher than the other? Yeah, San Francisco traditionally makes better quality strikes and coins. So does the Denver Mint. The Philadelphias kind of leave a little bit to be desired here. And that's why this one sold for $3,737.25. All right, continuing on. Lincoln Cents have been really good here lately. We have a 35S, another great looking coin. And I like the grade actually. This is a good, second tier type level grade. It's a 66 plus full red, but keep in mind that CAC green bean sticker is present on there. This one right here, it's not a 67 nor is it a 67 plus, where, those particular coins end up selling for many thousands more than this one. But how about $1,631.25? Even in a grade that, it's not the highest on the block, still manages to pull its weight quite a bit on a good sale. 1921, again, another tough date. All right, don't let the fact that this is a Philadelphia struck example fool you. Anything from the 20s, very few of them were saved. A lot of them were used and abused. It was a workhorse coin. During a very tumultuous 10-year kind of span that goes into the Great Depression, especially during the Great Depression, a lot of these, if there were any saved up, more than likely people were using them just so they could put food on the table and things like that. So we have one here. PCGS gave this one a 66 red grade. CAC also gave its blessing with a green bean as well. $1,604.25. Again, not the top grade for it, but nonetheless, another nice one. 1914D coming up next. All right, one of the big keys of the series. If you're looking to, I guess, stay relevant with your own Lincoln Cent collection, and this is what you're really passionate about, a 14D is going to be a necessity. Now, in a 64 red, is that a necessity? Probably not. This is a higher tier, higher echelon coin. This one right here in a 64 red ended up selling for $8,493.75. And please do understand, a 64 red, there's really not all that in a bag of chips. I would say more people probably prefer a red brown or a full brown of a 14D just based off of overall aesthetics, because the full red Lincoln Cent, will show its warts, whether it's staining, maybe some oxidation that's kind of unpleasant, carbon spotting, things like that. 1906 Indian Head Cent. Crazy that you could still find these in full red. And yet we have one right here, and it's one of the more common dates of Indian Head Cents. Now, NGC this time around graded this one to a mid-state 67 red. And keep in mind, full red examples of any date of Indian Head Cents are highly coveted, and they are expensive. This one, for example, sold for $8,751.38. All right, now we're on to nickels. We're starting things off here with one of the more tougher dates and just overall garbage quality coming from the mint during the 50s. A 55D is mired right smack dab in the middle. This is a horrible date for luster and strike. All right, so this one at least hammered home 50% of that. It's a 65 full stepper, which means, that strike is okay on the reverse, enough to show the individual lines of the steps. The photos, I would say, probably doesn't do it justice. If this was in hand, you have a loop or a magnifier, you probably see more on this one. Tough date. There are more other impressive grades of this particular coin. And that's why this one sold for $1,912.50. We also have a 54S, another really tough one. Now, I like this one based off of the color of the toning on there. Very attractive. PCGS mid-state 65 full steps on this one. And, the price tag, very, very nice. It's probably top 5 rarest on the list of Jefferson nickels with full steps. $2,988. We did see a 53S last week that broke all sorts of records over the course of the last 12 to 18 months. It was good to see these coins pop out. 1926, this one is a Denver minted coin. Now keep in mind, anything from the 20s with a mint mark, is highly collected today. All right, mostly in Buffalo nickels, but you can look at other different series as well and make that argument. And quality usually was not very good during this time. The dies were reused and reused. They were reworked on to the best of their ability rather than making new ones. This one, Mid-State 64 with a cat green bean. The numerical grade seems very pedestrian, but keep in mind, these are coins, again, in that workhorse kind of classification. A lot of them were used and abused. Very few of them were saved. This one right here is sold for $1,978.88, and that's just for a 64. And we also have a 65 grade in a 1924D. Okay, but I'll tell you what, this one definitely looks a little bit better. It's got more luster. It's not lifeless like the previous coin, which, those dates kind of tough. This one right here is in a 65 grade holder by PCGS. $3,487.50 was the sale on this one. Quite impressive. 1917 Philly, okay? Much like the coin I talked about Don't Let the Date Fool You, the 21 Lincoln. 17 Buffalo. If it's a very nice grade, it's got some light pastel-y color to it. We're talking about a coin with a lot of things going good for itself. 67 grade, of course, is no slouch. This one sold for $4,972.50. 1914, this time another branch mint coin, a Denver. Beautiful, second year out of the Buffalo nickel, still looks great. Very, very nice, presentable coin, strong luster. All the Buffaloes from top to bottom, very, very well collected if the grade is right. Mid-State 66 by NGC. It looks like an older holder. CAC green bean as well. And I'm happy to say this one brought in $2,981.25. All right, now we're on to dimes. And this one kind of snuck in there as being kind of like the WTF of this week's MMR. Like, what in the world is this thing doing here? And again, we're appealing to the registry sets when we see these. It's a 92p Roosevelt dime, Mid-State 69 full torch. All right, this one's got all the goodies on that strike. This one kind of snuck in there at a sale of $1,620. And then one that I've talked about quite a fair amount of times. Yet again, another one ended up on the marketplace. 1968 No S proof Roosevelt dime. Now keep in mind, every single one of these is supposed to have an S mint mark designating that they were produced at the San Francisco Mint. So again, by some error, the mint mark was left off of the working dies. Kind of tough to do considering that they're proof and, these things are more curated and taken care of for quality. Now, this one here, obviously missing that S mint mark above the date. Proof 67 Cameo, not the finest grade. Okay, wanted to bring that up, but hey, I'm not going to argue with $14,737.50. If I did find one and it came out in a 67 Cameo, I ain't going to be mad about that. And the final dime on this week's list, how about just really nice, pleasing 36S? It's got original color. The planchet quality is fantastic. Not the rarest date, I own a few BU 36S's, probably along the line of like maybe a gem 30, like a Mid-State 65 level grade. It's in an album right now. Okay, that's where it deserves. It's when you get to a Mid-State 68 with full bands where things get a little bit nutty, and that's this coin right here. So this one sold for $4,443.75. Worth every cent, nickel, and dime, to get to that price point. All right, so this is the one that's making all sorts of waves out there. I've heard a few people talking about this specific coin because it's like you don't come across a copper nickel clad Washington quarter with pretty light toning like this. It's a 71. Okay, there's no shortage of 71s. You can find them in a mid set if you want one really nice to add to your album. But this one is just simply dynamite. Okay, based off of the overall appearance of the coin with that color, it's a 67 plus, and it's also got a gold QA sticker. They're kind of like the modern equivalent of CAC. So it's a really blissful coin, and a registry set wants this in their collections to the point where a few of these hardy collectors opened their wallets to the tune of $7,312.50. That's seems like just an irrational amount of money for a coin that was produced into the millions. Pretty cool. This is what we call like an old OBW Rollander. They all seem to look like this after a while. 1955 Washington quarter in a 67 plus CAC green bean as well. It's cool. This one, if you're into toning, you'll appreciate this one. If you're not into toning, you'll hate it with a passion because it looks more dirty than anything else. I think the pictures and the kind of like the True View, great photo view that Great Collections is doing really highlights what this one looks like at its best. This one right here is sold for $3,487.50. It's a lot of money, but it's one of the more tougher dates of quarters. Here's a plain Jane 1939 Washington quarter. It's AP mint. A little bit of striations of color on the obverse there. You can see some pinks, yellows, a little bit of blue, things like that. Very attractive. It's not overstated and overdone. But anyways, it's a 68. It's a registry set coin all the way. $2,306.25. Another magnificent example this week. And the final coin on the list, how about a 1919D? Boy, I don't talk about this one that much. I'd have to say I probably talk about more of a 1921 than I do a 1919. Semi-key kind of status here. Very tough for overall strike and luster. This one kind of like nailed at least one of them pretty well. Coin, strike wise, is just okay. You can tell just by the lack of rivets on the left side of the shield there. Tells you everything you need to know. It doesn't even have full head. It's not graded that way. It's just a 66, which is a huge grade for this coin. But it's not the finest. This one ended at $7,313.62. What a great week of coins for it being, a show week. I'd like to remind you, information today provided in this video is for informational use only, not financial advice. Or, you could use it as education too. Please do collect and or grade responsibly. That's going to go ahead and wrap things up for this one. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Always a pleasure talking shop with you guys. The market, again, very robust. It's going to be good throughout the summer like it was last year. No doubt about it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Come check me out on Whatnot. Referral link again down below in the description box. I am going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy this hobby. Enjoy the hunt. And I will see you guys next time. So long.